Entering the Pat Mayo Experience.
Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience Wells Fargo Championship from Quail Hollow. Bets, picks, preview, one and done. We got it all coming for you. It's nice to be back after like a mini bye week where, frankly, the bets did not go the way that I wanted them to go on Sunday. I know that Fienberg is probably on the same page as me, as is like everyone except for one guy on Twitter who won all the money. Everything that we all could have cumulatively won if like Julian Surrey won or Kevin Kisner and Scott Brown somehow ended up having a nice Sunday. It all went to this one guy.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm like the board is starting to look like mush to me, Pat.
We talked about this. We had like 3 really fire weeks in a row to end January and begin February. And we said the hard times are going to hit. Guess what? They hit hard. Hard!
They're also being painful. Because outside of the Masters, I think I've had positions that I wouldn't trade for anything going into like the later rounds of all these tournaments.
Heritage was a bit dicey. It's been like a bad month, really, for me. At least last week, that Kisner and Brown ended up with the each way, like a partial each way. That was nice. I played these dollar doubles, so I had, I believe it was 5 teams from Zurich paired with 3 guys from the Hesson de Trophy, and like one of them was Surrey, one of them was EVR. Didn't play the each ways on them like a moron. Because I don't play like 28 to 1. I'm not going to play that. But it was so close to like, there were scenarios I was working at. Like if just Damon and Harkins had finished inside the top 5, it would have been a big payday week. And then they like blew it. They made a double bogey on 10 at Zurich. And then like down the stretch, it was like birdie, par, birdie. I was like, oh, if they can just par this par 3 and birdie the par 5, they're going to be inside the top 5 and everything will solve itself. And then they bogey the par 3 like idiots. Yeah. 3-putt, always fun.
Woe is me. I thought Mullenix and Stanley, Stallings, may as well have been Stanley. 66 to 1 could add some life. The T2 with Surrey, more kicks to the nut. Because I don't know. I can't remember last time I haven't backed Rom. And they've all been close. And you look back on it, like 16 to 1, and there's, I don't know. I know the format was sketchy. And even...
In fairness, like Ryan Palmer was chipping in on Sunday.
It got to a point where I just had to turn it off because like painful. Because like you wish Mullenix could have just played by himself. but to end Saturday, Palmer carried the water there, man. He made that incredible bogey save on 17 for them when they both hit it in the water, and he got the job done for them on 18. And to be honest, early Sunday in the round, they could have been up like 7 out of the gate. Palmer, they couldn't hit a putt. And it was like Rom who was, Palmer was carrying it for Rom. And I did turn it off when Nobilo went on to tell me that like Stallings has Rom-esque like skill. That's when off.
Maybe they were talking about that particular day when Rom wasn't playing well.
No.
That's not what they were getting up to?
And I don't give a shit what Scott Stallings looks like. If he hits a bad shot, you don't have to talk about his body.
Well, he's got the vein. You can see the vein coming out of the bicep.
It's like you can acknowledge he's not playing well instead of every comment being about his body.
You think if they were shaming him for being too in shape?
No,
very jealous of his
body. That's not
body?
what I'm getting at. I don't mean it. Whatever. Let's move on.
These people have legit nothing to talk about with Scott Stallings. Like, that's it. Scott Stallings is currently playing on the course, and he's super ripped. That's it. Those are the 2 talking points for Scott Stallings. That's the extent of which they know about Scott Stallings. Moving on, kind of thing. So I ran into a problem because I had Surrey and EVR. I don't know how people do it with these. I guess everyone who bet like Campillo over the years kind of suffered the same fate. He finally won. So I have Surrey. I have Van Rooyen, who's like up by 2. And I get into a situation, we were kind of texting back and forth with one another. Then I had to like go do like baby stuff. And then I had to go like on an hour and a half drive to go see my wife's family. And so I wasn't really paying attention. I was like, oh, one of these 2 idiots has got it. Don't worry about this. And like, by the time I get there, I'll just hedge out if it gets close. No big deal. Like by the time I like drive my hour, I kind of check in at a stoplight, look at it, and it's like, oh, Campillo's up by 2 and no one's going to catch him. Great.
Idiot. I never played that guy once because I forbid to like bet a sponsorless golfer.
But you always love betting Ollie.
He doesn't wear a hat. Doesn't mean he doesn't have sponsors.
Who are his sponsors?
What?
Who are Ollie's sponsors? Like me and
Callaway?
You send him money and he wears Geoff Fienberg?
Yeah, no, whatever his shirt is. This guy wears it'd be like me betting badly. This guy's like way better.
Yeah, you got to bet badly in like the alternate events.
Because Duffner has like gear and shirt sponsors, but this guy, for as good as this guy's been consistently, it's actually pretty hilarious. Campillo has no gear. Thoughts and prayers to Team EVR. I don't know that there is a player.
I'm not big on because I don't bet the Euro Tour often, but I can't imagine like the people who bet EVR every single week in the same. It's like the people
Wiley.
It's like the people who bet Ryan Fox every single week, and then he finally won. Yeah. It was like, and I don't think anyone was on him.
Yeah, our boy Wiley. Shout out, because I think he's been through the ringer on every single EVR Sunday, and EVR Sundays are literally just Rochamp, any guy like his finishes. All due respect, he's a world class golfer, but his ability to cash bettors outright tickets, you may as well just get Rochambeau'd on the first tee.
He really seems like a guy you should each way. Reverse engineer it all in my mind.
But a lot of the times, because he's so consistent and plays well, his lines are a little shorter than where you or I may each way. This is what I'm not angry, but so one of the other books that starts with a B had a line after the second round completed, before they started the third round. This is all in the same day, right? I want to say Saturday.
Are we talking about Zurich? Or are we talking about
Zurich?
Okay.
Sorry. Of Rahm and Palmer at 7-1. Well, other books had it at like plus 250, plus 300.
So you bet it and they canceled your bet.
Yeah,
they do that. Remember they had DeChambeau at like 1,000-1
live
at the U.S. Open last year. It was a mystery. It was supposed to be
a live thing.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't live. It was after the third round, and they canceled all the bets overnight.
Because on the live board, usually they have to swallow their mistakes. I get on the other touting situations where they
have time to readjust.
They can play that they just own everything, and I get with the live, it's the same thing. But I've noticed with live, they feel like they have less gumption to pull the bet back.
Well, there's also not enough time to sort of do it. They can do it overnight because the bet hasn't officially started yet, based on what you've taken it at. So if as it pertained to the DeChambeau situation, he was 1,000-1, and he was supposed to be like 100-1 or like 200-1 or something like that. And a whole bunch of people bet it at 1,000-1 just because he's like 5 shots back, whatever. Like let's throw a buck on this and see what happens. They just overnight, they looked at it like, we got a ton of money on this. We set a bad line. The round hasn't started yet. We'll cancel everything. Like, that's going to happen. Like, you have to...
Yep.
You know what I mean? Giveaways and winners from last week. The winners, I should probably let people know that if they want to get into a draw for 20 DK bucks, you people out there, all you need to do, 2 ways to do it. Smash the like button for the episode. Leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section and give me a pick to win a Bethpage in 2 weeks. PGA Championship. I was digging in on some PGA Championship over the weekend. I must say, the bye week really helped me. I mean, I was in Boston doing NFL draft stuff, but just like mentally taking a break from golf, like hardcore golf research for like 6 days. It was very liberating, I must say. Like,
mental break about 2 second places.
I was excited to dig back into the Wells Fargo, put it that way. Like I had been like, just for like, especially after the Masters, like trying to do the heritage work. Like it was like, trying to like think of like angles for the Zurich. Like I have none. It's kind of tapped out. Now I got like new Luke List stuff that I can like prop him up with, new Ben Ann stuff, so we can continue losing bets on those guys. I just have new angles to come at it with. But the winners from last week: Hoagie 89, Dovid 74, V-Rod 305, Papa Dom 182, Up Down Down. Must be a cheat code for something, not Contra though. Big Daddy Gator 12, that's a great name, and Safran. All the winners of 20 DK dollars. Expect to see that money within the next hour or 500 days. Somewhere in that time, you will get your 20 DK bucks.
Before you continue with the well-deserved shout-outs, There's
only like 3.
I like that there is the concept that you have new information that could turn someone who hasn't bet Luke List yet, based on things you've said in the past, but you've got some new like revelation that like could bring them on board now.
Well, I just have a new way of like diluting myself into think that he could win this week. That's it.
Don't worry, I believe you.
Everyone's going to believe me after this one. This one is foolproof, I tell you. So the Listeners League is in the description. Pat Mayo Experience Open back this week for Wells Fargo. 3,500 spots, $15 to enter, 3 max entry. No rake, so everything is guaranteed. Let's get that filled so we can build our way back up. Probably do like 3,500 for Byron Nelson next week. I don't know if we'll be as big as we were for the Masters in terms of the Listeners League. Like, there was over 100K guaranteed. But I want them to keep it at $15, not $10. And then we don't need to fill 10,000 spots. We only need to fill like 6,700. I feel like that's more doable. And we won't be like scrounging to the last second. I have to like beg people to go in because it makes me look bad. Just go fill it up quickly. You
still filled it pretty early. I know we had to like push it a couple more times, but relatively, I think it filled pretty quick.
This is true. So the Listeners League, go play in that right now. Go get your signups. I got a Game of Thrones special episode. I'm doing a crossover with Tommy G and No Mercy. I'll release it on both feeds. Won't be video for the YouTube if people are watching on YouTube. It'll just be audio.
Can I get like 30 seconds?
We'll do it at the end. We'll do Game of Thrones at the end. And then special guest for Wednesday.
I know who it is.
It's Kentucky Derby week. That means Andrew Cuss will be here and in studio joining me. I hope. I don't want to promise and have it follow through, but he says he's in.
He'll be in.
We got Cam.
That's awesome.
Cam is back.
Hold on, Andrewcast via satellite.
Yeah, Andrewcast like via. It's odd because Cam has a live show every day from like 4 to 7, and Cust would be available to film during that time, but not before that time when Cam is. So we got to film it late at night. But Cam needs to be on the Derby show.
Yeah, of course.
It's tough to get him in at like this time every day to like join us or something like that. But for Kentucky Derby, he's definitely in. Shout outs. Kerry T. Bet of the year, right? It's got to be. He bet Campillo, Palmer and Rahm, and Zhang on the web.com tour. So that's a 15-1, a 20-1, and a 22-1. Parlayed them all together as winners, and they won $33,000. Kerry T.
And even at a two banger too.
Yeah, he only won like $2,000 on that one.
Unbelievable.
I believe that's a $5 bet. The way that I worked it out, I think it's like $4.50.
Yeah, it was $4. I think
that's incredible. Imagine being that right. That's more winners on one card than you've had all year.
There it is. He's got me by one.
I know. And he really cashed in on it.
Oh.
And he also said that he woke up in the morning. The story was that his card got broken into by a crackhead who destroyed his console for like $2 worth of change. He's like, I was going to use the money to pay for a new console. I just might buy a new car.
Oh, that's amazing.
Have fun getting that money out, though. That can be problematic from time to time, based on where I saw that he won it at. It hasn't been a problem for me, but I don't know how it works in the States.
I've heard some horror stories, and the guys that like have been through the ringer with them are recommending like him to set up
Bitcoin?
the Coinbase.
Well, Bitcoin will actually get your money out faster in that circumstance. I remember when I did it, I won the 5 figures.
It's worth a lot more coins than it used to be.
It's true. You just keep that in. Hopefully it goes back up. Like paper money will be a thing
or
of the past.
Or a lot less coin. I just mean, yeah.
Yeah. But so they sent me a check when I hit Willet a few, like 4 or 5 years ago now. But like in Canada, we can just set it up with like a bank account.
Yeah.
So I have like a gambling specific bank account that has no other money in it besides like trying to cash out and deposit money back and forth. I feel like that's the way to go. I don't want any other money. Like,
yeah, no,
I have it at a different bank
and
than
I'll be
everywhere
honest,
else.
I feel that I've had to set those up because the credit cards that I've used my whole life that assure you are clean and empty, like, are no longer being accepted on the sites that they were accepted for literally forever.
I think they want people to do it with the bank. I don't know why. And obviously this
but
is
I feel like we are probably on the precipice of these major credit card companies like Visa, like
having gambling credit cards.
Yeah, like I can get like that literally will not block. Like if it's online, like by signing up for this card, you sort of give away less privileges than maybe with a standard card.
Well, it's probably something, something that you have to like buy,
or you
like
have to
pay, like pay $1,000 to get $1,000, and then you can use that to deposit if you want.
Yeah, or like maybe the insurance on it for fraud could be like a little higher because like on like
Yeah.
There's just more propensity for something to go wrong than maybe with your standard like retail based.
I'm gonna pass that on to
Card?
DraftKings when they go like nationwide with the DraftKings Sportsbook. Like, get your DraftKings Sportsbook credit card.
Well, that could just be gift cards.
Yeah, but you can like earn points from it or stuff like that.
Crowns.
People love it. Get your crowns in.
Earn
I play like not a substantial amount of money on DraftKings. I
Cash
play
in your crowns.
I play my like $100 to $500 a week depending on what the week is. Like, I'll always up it for the Millionaire Maker because I'm taking a shot at $1 million. Why not? But I don't have a lot of crowds. And I've like tried to cash in like a $5 ticket. Like, it's a lot of crowns for $5.
And I mean, because of no rake, we probably don't get crowns in the.
No, you do not get crowns for mine, but there is no rake.
Yeah,
that's sort of the trade-off.
I'll take. It's okay. I'll actually prefer.
Yeah, the no rake. Yeah, you win the more money. So Carrie T, shout out, $33,000. That's a day. Nikki Noodles, you know Nikki. Nikki, big fan of the show. Always shout out to Nikki. He won the $20 3 max in MMA. Paul goes on vacation 1 week. Boom. Paul's not in these contests. Nikki Noodles is winning. Apparently, he would have won a whole bunch had he have entered like the bigger ones, but he didn't. He just played the 23 max. So shout out to him. He had a big cash in golf and MMA earlier this year too. And then Chosh 530. He hit a Rom Palmer and then 2 separate NBA alternative spread parlays. He racked up like $3,800 on a $400 buy-in. And then big fan of the show, Raikou. I'm really gonna fuck this up, so I apologize. I'm gonna try my best. So we have Raikou Mukherjee. Raikou Mukherjee. Anyway, he bets big, and when he bets big, he wins big.
This guy.
He hit both Campillo and Palmer Rom, both paid out $6K.
He's so charmed. He was like, his wife sent him to the Masters. Like, you got to be at that Masters.
He can afford to now, too.
Sure. Oh, he's killing it. Good for him. Not us.
No, not us. We need to borrow some money.
No, please.
FantasyNational.com too. All the stats have been updated. Now is the time to get in. Get your monthly right now, and bring you through the PGA Championship. Get yourself acclimated with this week, next week, and then by the time PGA Championship comes around, you want to make those bets. You want to play those DraftKings lambs. You'll be well equipped to know how to use the site. It's pretty easy to use anyway.
And how about those guys that crushed it? The Fantasy National Gup's Corner crew.
That looked fun. Moose was down there with Gup.
Gup and Bucks and I guess some lucky winners of their contest of the joint membership.
I saw Moose who's got a bad sunburn.
Yeah, that looked bad.
Not good. I think they were slapping him in the back of the neck too.
That would
bullying him. Poor Moose getting bullied.
That looked amazing. And a little birdie told me like keep an eye out for more because the contests keep coming over there. But yeah, wow. That almost makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah.
Seemed like they had their own like little villa on the golf course. They were like playing night golf.
Hey,
like
Fantasy National and Gup's Corner. It'll get you done.
Oh.
Giveaways to be had. All right. Wells Fargo Championship. Quail Hollow. Long course, by the way. Very, 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 very long. It's a par 71, too, so don't sleep on that. 7,554 yards. Jason Day, who could not miss a putt or a chip last year, and even hit the pin on the 71st hole on that par 3 to save his ass last year, ended up being the winner. Tim's one and done winner of last year, too. Jason Day, I think, was his only top 10 finish in the one and done.
I don't think there was a winner who hit more par putts of 10 feet or longer in a single event last year than Jason Day.
You have to come to expect that with Jason. Because when Jason Day wins, that's how he wins.
Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah. And when I'm looking at it right now, because these are super fast greens. This course was like not completely renovated, but highly renovated for the 2017 PGA Championship. So in 2014, they renovated the greens. They switched from bent grass to Bermuda with like POA trivials in it. And they redid some of the holes for the PGA Championship. Now it's playing as a par 71 right now, but it seems to be a bit tougher. It was the hardest course 2 years ago. It was the 5th hardest course for this specific event last year. You got to be long.
Yeah, I was asking you before about past winners. You're not, if you're not long, you've almost got no chance.
If you're not going to be long at this course,
You gotta be perfect.
You need to be deadly with long irons. And you like the green regulation percentage of this course is so low that you have to have a short game. Like bad short games just don't worry about it. I mean, Derek Ernst is one here before, which is just the weirdest outlier. So you have 5 of the past 7 winners have finished inside the top 10 at this course in one of the past 2 years before winning. The only 2 were Hahn and Derek Ernst, who were both 500-1 winners, which is just bonkers.
I remember that Hahn win.
There was the weird
Yeah,
playoff with like
yeah.
Roberto Castro.
And you mentioned,
And like Dustin was trying to chase them down. Phil was trying to chase them down.
and you mentioned Furyk is the only guy to win here that wasn't ranked.
Inside the top 80 in terms of driving distance by the end of the season. So Furyk in 2007 is the last time a non-bomber won here.
And I'll
I
be
mean,
honest,
not bomber.
80 seems like a stretch.
What?
Like a guy 80, like 80. If you rank like 50th to 80th in driving distance, almost feels like you might not be long enough to win this tournament this week.
But we know that, like, I mean, especially someone like Furyk, we've seen Webb Simpson do really well at this course.
Well, he doesn't live. This is where he pulled his back out playing with his kid.
No,
Or
that was at Greenbrier.
Okay.
Like Johnson Wagner, this is his home course. So there's like paths to do well here, but actual winners, you just see bombers. Like it takes the degree of difficult. Like this course is going to be hard for anyone. And like hitting fairways here is super tough. It is one of those courses a lot like Heritage where missing on the right-hand side in the rough might be better than missing on the left-hand side of the fairway because then you actually have an angle. One of the most impressive rounds. I think we talked about this when we did like the season recap last year and like what was the most impressive round. And I think I put up Rory, his final round at Bay Hill where he was just
Or
unconscious.
that web round at Players.
Web round at Players and that Michael Kim round when he just went out of control at John Deere. But Rory here in 2014, when he beat Patrick Rogers and Webb Simpson, he won by like 9 shots. He was fucking unconscious that entire day. He was taking everything from like 225 away, 3 feet, make the putt, move on. Like it was one of the craziest Sundays I can ever remember. So Rory's won here twice.
Rory crushes it here. That's why I was trying to build the year the PGA Championship here was here. I was spending the whole summer building like MLB when the PGA Championship was at the very end of the summer.
Yeah.
Spent the whole summer building MLB Rory PGA Championship parlays.
Didn't work out.
Did not work out, but
I didn't actually watch it. I was on my honeymoon during that.
the Quail Hollow PGA.
Yeah, so I was watching like
Justin Thomas.
Justin Thomas won, but like
Yeah.
Molinari and Kisner and Louis all made runs.
The Ric Flair intro.
Yes, so I think I was here for like the first day of it, then I ended up watching like the second half in like Germany.
Rory at plus 650
Well,
feels like
we're not even at the odds yet. Do you want to get to the odds?
I was just gonna sure. It just that's evergreen Rory at Quail Hollow. I feel like that was like
regardless
almost
of what's
his
going on.
PGA Championship number.
This feels like we've seen like breakthroughs at this course before too. This was Rory's first PGA win, like
And?
2010. It was Ricky's first PGA win. Maybe
James Hahn.
No, James Hahn had won at
No.
Riviera. That's the big corollary here. Like guys that play well at Riviera play well here, and vice versa. JB Holmes has now won at both. We really should have looked at that when we were thinking about JB Holmes and like trying to decide on him earlier this year. Like Hideki generally plays well at both. Phil plays really well at both these courses. Dustin's played well. Rose has played well. Rory's played well. Obviously, Hahn and Holmes have both won. So it's really interesting to see. Kokrak is another player that's done really well at both these courses in the past. So that's something to look at. I think that Torrey Pines is somewhat of a corollary as well. Justin Rose is another player who's done well at both over the years. Jason Day won them both last year. So there's something. They're long courses where guys don't hit a ton of fairways and don't hit a ton of greens in regulation. So you need to have that length plus that short game to really go along with it. All my key stats are up on dkplaybook.com right now. You can find my link to my like preview column in the description of the video, and then you can weigh whatever you want at Fantasy National. I made my my custom modeling. So let's start there before we get to the odds. I typed in my key stats, and I'm looking at the past 50 rounds. Jeffrey, who do you think rates out 1 through 10 in the key stats past 50 rounds?
Rory
Rory number 1 by a lot.
in this field or
In this
on
field.
tour?
Just in this field, yes. The field that we're talking about.
Paul Casey,
Paul Casey's number 6.
Hideki Matsuyama,
Is number 5.
Tony Finau.
Finau's number 8.
So just is so who isn't at the top?
Well, hey, then now we're into the guys that aren't at the top.
Well, because I haven't even said like Day.
Day is not. Day never rates out well in modeling because I don't weight putting all
You
that
don't
much.
Wait 15-foot par saves for 4 days.
No, and we'll get into that here in a second.
You got okay. This correlates to what we
What we were talking about before.
Here, okay.
We've just seen like a substantial amount of bad putters win here before. That's all I'm saying. And I have more to add to that. So the rest of them are kind of interesting. I think that's where
Vegas.
Vegas is not. Vegas is close. Actually, he's not even close. He's inside the top 40.
Byung Hanan,
Number 3.
of course. Henrik Stenson's been doing a lot right lately.
Stenson's 13. He doesn't have, because I weighted distance pretty heavily. He just doesn't have the distance. It's like Fowler's number 12. List is number 11.
Kokrak has to be.
Kokrak is not, because I weighted around the green, and Kokrak is like abysmal.
So how many spots do I still need to fill?
You have like 3 or 4? There's one guy who just appears on this every single week, regardless of what's going on.
Charles Howell?
No, it's Sung Jae Im.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the guy had 2 bad rounds, just like Ben Ann, and like people are off of him all of a sudden.
Keith Mitchell.
Keith Mitchell, number 9.
Yeah.
Back on Bermuda, too.
Crushes it. He's got it's putting like great this year.
Former winner at this event, Lucas Glover, is number 10.
Okay.
Number 2, and you'll like...
Keegan.
Keegan is not. No short game. You'll like this. Number 2 in the stats, Gary Woodland.
I don't know. I honestly just assumed I said Woodland like with that first group of players.
And Justin Rose is number 4.
I also just
good.
ran those. I was trying to think of, okay, fair enough.
So let's get to the actual pricing. The Rory number you were talking about, 6.5 for Rory at the top. Jason Day, last year's winner, 10-1. Ricky, 11-1. Rose, 11-1. Sergio, 18. Casey, Finau, Webb, all 20. Hideki's 22. Then that's it. That's everyone below 30-1. My eyes.
I've got
Okay, you go first.
I could skip right over anyone in the teens, but it's the 20s that could have me. Casey, Hideki, and Finau to me all rate out fantastic. Do I have the stomach? Hideki, every time while bigger things were happening, I was so excited to get him at like 33, 35. They're even 40s. Now it's like half that. But again, his weekend at the Masters, much like his weekend at the Players,
Yeah,
he sucks me back in.
Can he just not start +4 in round 1? And then we'll be off to a good start.
Finau off that Masters, a little time off. Everything he does rates out to this place. And
plays well at Riviera.
And maybe it could be more of a DraftKings thing here, Pat, or maybe the Masters feels so long ago. Do people remember how much they hate Paul Casey?
I don't know. So that's what I really want to get at here. So Paul Casey, super duper chalk. Everyone's kind of on him. Everyone bets him at the Players, and then he just has a disaster on 17. He misses the cut. No one wants a piece of him the next week at Valspar, and he wins. At the Masters, everyone's back in on Paul Casey. Shits the bed. Everyone hates Paul Casey. Now this is his first time back. We get him at 20-1. He is someone who's played really well at Riviera over the years. He has all 3 facets of tee to green. And here's the big clincher too. These greens are exceptionally fast. Like some of the fastest on tour. And when you start like rating out past 50 rounds, who putts the best on really fast greens?
Rory?
Number 10, right there, Paul Casey. Loves himself a fast green. If we go to the past 24 rounds, Ricky Fowler and Curtis Luck are the best 2 in the field. There is not a range that you can sort by where Jason Day doesn't really pop up inside the top 15 in this field.
Okay. Finau could really be my guy.
Okay.
I can't believe it. 20-1 just feels so... I'm dumb enough to have gone to bed last night thinking I could flirt with 30.
But you were wrong.
And Paul Casey, also another guy that kind of had my attention after like maybe the hate and maybe me assuming this field. It's a strong field.
It's a strong up top field.
Sorry. Yes. We'll get there because it does seem to lack that entire like next front end of that next odds range that we like. Casey, Hideki, Finau would be what I would be deciding between. The guys in front, Rory could win again by 9 strokes, but I can't.
It's a tough number to swallow. All those numbers at the top are tough to swallow.
Even I'll say this: like I love Ricky Fowler, but they want to create. They want to test the limits of what I can swallow. They're testing it.
You don't love Ricky? Well, I mean, Ricky's won here. Maybe that goes a long way.
Sure, but I'm saying, like, maybe, like, someone out there is like Fienberg. Like, what's the difference between, like, 15, 16-1 and, like, 11 or 10? I don't know. It's a big difference. It's almost like a bet and a half difference.
Yeah, I agree.
And just I don't know. I love the guy, and I can poke fun at his lack of win equity with everyone else, but I can't go there. I don't know. Rose and Sergio, they're just not on brand for me at the moment.
Casey and Hideki have the most attention from me right now because I think they factor into everything that I like to see.
You just don't care for like Finau, just the price.
The price. I mean, for the guy doesn't win.
Breakthrough.
Maybe this is the spot. Maybe he is the breakthrough guy.
He
But,
doesn't.
like, at least Casey's shown he can close finally.
Yeah.
And like Hideki's won what 7 times?
And
8
would
times?
you argue or you wouldn't? Because with some guys we do agree that you would rather like everyone in the world here and get like Finau higher.
What do you mean?
Like we make the joke like with Luke List, like the tournament he wins. Like at 80-1, like when he's at 40-1 or like 30-1 in like really crummy fields, you're like, if he when he wins,
It'll be a big boy event.
it'll not so much that it'll be a big boy event, but like when things actually go right for him, he could win any event. So you'd rather it be like when he's 120-1.
Yeah. I'm on board with that.
I know I used a lot of words to get to the point that, do you sort of see that with Finau, obviously in a much more talented range, but like the week that it actually all clicks for him, like he has the same chance of winning this as he does literally the PGA Championship.
Probably, yeah.
Why
think
couldn't
so.
I just use those like 7 words instead of rambling?
I actually do. I mean, I can see it because he's been so competitive at a lot of these majors, but I actually see Finau going to like the Canadian Open and curb stomping everyone in like a bad field. I feel like that's going to be, and then maybe that gives him the confidence to go out and actually go and close on a Sunday. I don't know. There's a name here that I'm really intrigued by though.
Gary Woodland.
Woodland is super intriguing.
That's not it.
And
it's
like
I love Woodland.
his numbers at his numbers down to 28. It opened at 33. I would have liked the 33 a bit better, but I do like Woodland. Woodland sets up really well. It's Phil. Phil kills this course, man. He was 5th last year, 4th year before, 11th, and 3rd. He plays it every single season. Didn't play well at the PGA Championship 2 years ago, but it's weird because it's just he gains an inordinate amount of strokes off the tee. And Phil doesn't really do that, but at this course he does. It's really strange, and he hasn't gained fewer than 4.1 strokes putting on these greens anytime in the past 4 years. Like, he has these greens figured out. He loves fast greens. This is a Riviera corollary. We know he's great around the greens because it's one of these courses where he has enough distance. That's not really the problem, but he knows where to miss. He's played it enough times that kind of digging Phil at 30. And Phil, we need to start talking about Phil in the same context that we talked about Tiger when Tiger first came back. It's like, is Tiger really going to win at places he never won before? And I mean, at this point, Tiger has continuously won at places where he's won before.
Yeah.
And I feel like Phil is kind of on that same trajectory as well. Like, if he ever has a shot anywhere, maybe he's a better top 5 bet or a top 10 bet than an outright winner. Like, I haven't pulled the trigger on it by any means, but I just find he's very intriguing at 30-1 to me. You never bet Phil, so.
He's hitting with what's it, high bombs or what's he talking now?
Hitting bombs?
Yeah, hitting bombs.
He's having fun on social media. Yeah, Paul's really into his calves.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's just kind of stuck out to me as like, why does he play well here every year? Why does he play well at Riviera every single year? There's something about these courses that he seems to have figured out that just really suit his game. Maybe they're just good to lefties. I don't know. Anyway, so we kind of decided Casey and Hideki are the two for me, and those 3, Hideki, Casey, and Finau, are the ones you're kind of targeting on?
Yeah, and I would say Woodland, I'm very confident I'm going to bet.
Okay.
So I'm going to have Woodland, and I'm probably going to... I haven't made any bet yet, but I'm probably going to have Woodland, and then I'm probably going to go back into there for
If I see Woodland at
those guys.
33, I might bite the bullet on that one. I don't know yet. We'll see. Middle tier. It starts off with the Phils of the world. Stenson at 33. Then you got Kokrak, Reed at 40. Then it's just a big jump to 55. You got Im, Howell, and Glover. Then at 60, you have An and Keegan Bradley. Then like Zach Johnson, Johnny Vegas, Keith Mitchell at 80. Luke List, Daniel Berger, JB Holmes at 80. Obviously, I'm betting Bjorn Hanan. Obviously, I'm betting Luke List. And here's the reason why. I mean, because I'm a sucker. I'm just going to continuously lose money on these guys every single week because, I don't know. Imagine if one of those 2 guys won this week and I wasn't betting on them. I would just feel horrible about myself. I can flush my $40 down the tube, doing anything. This is the way that I choose to do it. So I may have lost all objectivity on it, but I need to come up with a new angle to try to sell people on why they need to be in on Luke List and Bjorn Hanan. This course generates the most missed putts inside of 5 feet of any course.
I see where you're going.
And the most missed putts inside of 10 feet of any other course. So that puts everyone at the same playing field as Luke List and Ben Ann. They're already doing that.
Yeah.
So unless they start,
Everyone comes to their level now.
Everyone's sinking down to their level.
You got me. I was already in. And I was just wondering, where could you be going with this?
And List last year, he was inside the top 10 at this course, so that rates out well. They both bomb the ball. They both score really well on short par threes. And there's two gettable, or not par threes,
that's
par fours.
amazing.
There's two drivable par fours on this course. They both play their long irons really well. And the big thing that sticks out from them and a lot of the other guys in their range who are like bombers or whatever is they both have short games. They can both get up and down. Like short game is actually an advantage that they have on the field. Ben Ann especially, he's the best in the field around the greens. But Luke List is inside the top 30 as well, and they're both inside the top 20 of driving distance. So I think this course does rate out pretty well for them, to tell you the truth. I'm in. I hope I sold you.
Listen, I've sold before. Just the Ann stats are out of this world, and I have long been a believer in what Luke List is capable of. I gotta give you credit though. That might have actually brought a couple people onto the wagon.
No. I think people have been like, Mayo's an idiot and bets these losers every week. I'm sitting back here not losing money while I just watch him go down in flames every single week.
Can we break that down also?
Sure.
Because we get a lot of heat for like the Luke List.
I don't. Apparently you do. I actually don't receive any hate for Luke List.
Come on, you're like subtweeted on it.
Am I?
Yeah.
See, I don't know who's subtweeting me. I don't give a fuck.
I know. I mean, like they're putting you on them, but it's not even just. I shouldn't even say this doesn't even like come from Twitter, but people need to know like the Luke List money. It's like I'm almost just like betting him, investing in the show.
Oh, of course.
It's like for content.
Content purposes, yeah, it's good marketing for Luke List and the show.
Should be able to write them off at this point.
That'd be great.
The Luke List Ben Ann bets.
I mean, if one of them actually hits, we'll be. It's not like the Ricky thing where you bet Ricky all these times, and then when he finally wins, you're breaking even.
Yeah, and
when
then,
these guys win, we're still going to be up a bunch of money.
Not only am I breaking even, I get to lose the money because he wins the night of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so you dump it all back in.
Sounds worse.
But from that range, like 80 to 1's a good number, 60 to 1's a fine number. I see 66 in some spots, but this is the range that I find kind of intriguing. Like JB Holmes is here. He's 80 to 1. He's won here before.
Are you betting Keith Mitchell?
Keith Mitchell's one that I'm very intrigued by at 80 to 1. I just worry about Keith's up and down game. I really do.
And history.
But he played well at the Masters.
History isn't kind
to the non-elite winners on tour.
And I don't want to call him a fringe player, but I mean,
it's like Aaron Wise last year.
Like history just isn't kind. The only guy that really did it, and he double barreled like swing season, was Kazire. But let me say it is guys getting like their like 2 wins in a year when you're not sort of a status.
Yes,
that's very rare historically. You see the guy win, you think like, oh, there's going to be like, oh, he's going to piggyback that. Well, Mitchell like played well and actually had great opportunities at courses that didn't even suit his game because his form was so fire. Yeah, you just don't see it. So I'll probably waste my money on someone else. I need to ask though. I got to drop back down.
Keith Mitchell, bad around the green, bad on short par fours.
You've been like on and off the train, but you seem to have gotten a seat. Kokrak doesn't move it for you. There's probably people that feel like they can't get off.
It's really tough. Like he's played well at this course.
It's the same number now for like a month, and the form is still
but
hot.
This is a stronger field. I just look at him that he has to be. It's like you just bet on him this week, so maybe you can tell me if you were watching him anymore. But like realistically, despite like consistency that Kokrak has shown, what's really the difference between him and Trey Mullinax?
Not a lot.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. Mullinax was playing amazing and was carrying Stallings' water for the whole week.
So, like, what's Mullinax? Mullinax is 110 to 1, right?
Jeez.
So Kokrak is 40 to 1. Mullinax is 110 to 1.
Mullinax?
So it's about like let's just pretend like he's 120 instead of 110. That you would get 3 times as much value on Trey Mullinax as you would on Jason Kokrak. I don't think that Jason Kokrak. And the reason I compare them together, because I think their games are very similar. Kokrak has obviously been more consistent. He's been really close to that breakthrough, but Mullinax just kind of pops at places, and he played really well at Torrey Pines this year too, if you might remember. He has the distance for sure. He has no short game, but if Kokrak is going to succeed, he also has no short game, so he's just going to need to be pinpoint all the time, like the Derek Ernst year, or like when Andrew Riviere-Dalou ended up first round leader, and we cashed fucking big on that. That was a fantastic one. I think it's the biggest.
When was that? When was that?
It might have been the Cam year when you were.
I
No,
don't
it
know.
was. It was the
Whatever.
year. It was the year that Han won. And
Okay.
Andrew Liu was in the mix, and we had him like 500-1, and he hit
Awesome.
first round leader.
Awesome.
Anyway, I just feel like those two guys you can put in a similar bucket. And if I can get one for 3 times the price, I'd probably take the guy who's 3 times the price.
I might need a play Molnix at that 110 because his game
It looks sharp,
it-
right?
Even the announcers were mentioning, like, it looked effortless. And golf is one of those silly games. Like, when it's going well,
If only he had put more effort into his haircut.
when it's going well, it does, look quite effortless, and it can turn on a dime. But yeah, I mean, those are valid points. I haven't made a single Coke rack bet this year, so I don't feel like
Why get on now? You're not missing out.
Trust me, I stick on enough losers.
You don't need to add some.
Yeah, I don't need to add someone else's. Watch him go win, and credit to everybody that's been patient with him.
I feel like he's just more of a DraftKings play than like a bet. You know what I mean? Because he's been a great each way, for sure. And he almost made that run at Heritage, too. He got really hot on Sunday, then he gave it all back.
Another guy who's hot, who I think, for a while now, maybe even going back to the players, been pretty solid. Vegas.
Vegas has been good. I do worry about his around the green game as well. That, again, if you can't get the ball consistently up and down, and this is such a hard course to make 5-foot putts on, just by and large on the field, that if you're not sticking it really close to the hole, you're going to get yourself into some issues and you're going to make a lot of bogeys. So when I look at this list, like, I'm actually quite intrigued by Glover at 55. And he kind of pissed everyone off, Paul included, who was on him at Heritage, and he couldn't rally.
Aaron Wise might be the name from that list.
Aaron Wise was second here last year, remember? And then he went out and won the next week at Byron Nelson. You want guys who are really good off the tee here. And when I sort by past 50 rounds off the tee, you know what? Let's shrink the sample. We'll shrink it down to past 24 and just strokes gained off the tee. This is where you can find some of your non-bombers that are like mid-tier distance, but gain a bunch. Like the Molinaris of the world. Like Molinari's not short off the tee. He is like,
but he can hit that 188 iron
exactly
like
so,
butter.
So can you pair up a guy who's like shorter but really good on like gain strokes off the tee actively, and then does really well from like 175 and beyond? I'm curious to see over the past 24 rounds who that spits out. Hadwin, wow, did not expect that.
Wow.
Hadwin, 4th off the tee over the past 24 rounds, 10th in proximity from beyond 200 yards. He has been just ass around the greens though. 146 of 156 players in this field. And his approach has just been god-awful. So I'm going to cross him off. But like beyond Hanan, Keith Mitchell, Luke List, Kevin Streelman, really? Huh.
What about
And
does
there's Aaron-
KH have the round numbers? Or I don't want to cross the threshold.
KH Lee.
I don't want to get to 101. If
Let's see. KH Lee is 30th off the tee, 42nd in approach, really bad around the greens, and really bad from beyond 200 yards. Doesn't look like a great week for him. Danny Lee actually rates out way better.
Can I? This is just for gambling.
just by typing in Lee, just all of a sudden there's Danny Lee.
So gambling talk here.
Yep.
Last week, I took that big number
The KH Lee number?
at 175 to 1.
You didn't each way it?
Because it was on the
wrong book.
You take the number, but it's like you know. The
That
other
sucks.
books had the 100, 110. Someone's offering 175, but they don't sell you in each. They don't offer you the right to buy in each way.
You could have just bet the top 5.
I could have, but I don't.
I'm going to throw a name at you right now.
Oh,
Because we always do these FOMO bets, and we pick the worst players possible. And we kind of discussed this right before we came on air. It's been since last year's Masters that Patrick Reed won an event. Patrick Reed wins events, by the way. So
we almost have to just bet him blind because he's going to make good on 40 to 1.
He's
This
40
isn't even a strong field. Get to the stronger fields.
you get him
we're
at
pushing
55,
over 50,
60.
yeah.
It just feels like he's gonna have that tournament. And you talked about like his swing is just all out of whack until it's in perfect form, and then he's like unstoppable somehow.
He is a type of player.
This doesn't seem like the right course for him, but if it comes down to like putting and chipping, like he's good at those.
Yes, he strikes me as a guy now that like probably won't need form to win. It's just gonna happen.
He's going to show up. It's
everything-
Patrick
yeah.
Reed week, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
he's unstoppable.
Everything shows that everything he does is so hard to replicate.
He's sort of like the anti-Finau, even as it pertains to like the numbers that we get to bet on him. Like, in what world is Patrick Reed twice the odds of Tony Finau.
That's pretty funty. Forgetting the course fit.
Yeah,
like, and stuff
just,
like that.
But
yeah, just
Fi-
blindly lifting.
Finau has all the skills that we like to see. He has the repeatable skills. He's super long. He's super young. He's super likable. Yeah. Patrick Reed is none of those things, but he wins.
He's none of those things. And on we do this show early in the week, and it's like, yeah, give me Finau. But guess what? They're both tied Sunday on the 16th hole. 8 out of 10 times, I think I'm saying, now I want Patrick Reed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Or not even the 16th hole. Like, it's Sunday, they're both 4 from the field, and it's going to be one of them. Like, I don't know. Patrick Reed at double the number, probably the guy I want right now.
Patrick Reed's a lot like Jason Day as it comes out like that. Like, if he shows up and that's his week, it's his week and he's going to win.
Oh, and then he's like one of the great golfers in America, like on tour the week after he wins.
Yeah, and then people will be like 3 weeks later, like, this guy fucking sucks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a fair thought. And I don't know.
Because we're going to the PGA Championship. Again, smash the like button for the video. Leave your DraftKings handle in the... Did I do this already? I didn't, did I?
Yeah, you did, to give away the...
Yeah. Who's going to win the PGA Championship?
Yes, you asked that question.
Okay.
I'll say DJ.
I'm going to say Tommy Fleetwood right now. I'm kind of digging Tommy. I like that. Because when I was going back through the Bethpage research, you know who won the last time we played Bethpage? Patrick Reed.
Tommy, DJ, Woodland. This would be like an early 3-pack, but I've got no bets.
Sergio, very good course history at Bethpage. Very good at the U.S. Opens, very good at the Barclays when it was the Barclays.
But you are onto something. This course is probably too long for my liking, but we are probably on the cusp of being back to auto read bets.
One of the best putters on fast greens as well.
Well, we're staying under 100 to 1.
So the only 2 bets I actually have in are List and Ann right now. So you can check out my betting cheat sheet later in the week, facebook.com/thepme. And that's where I'll have all the bets listed along with the first round leaders and everything. I'm just having a really tough time wrapping my mind around it. Like the Reed, the Phil, the Casey. I'm interested. I just don't know if I can get there yet.
I was really disappointed when I got excited to see Berger at 90 to 1, and then I was really disappointed to see how hard he bottomed out at Heritage.
Yeah.
Because there are things that are really happening there, and his game does in many ways suit the big hitters at a discounted... I mean, he's one of them. He's at a discounted price. He's crushing it off the tee. His balls, clutch putting, and scrambling have abandoned him, it seems.
He's just not that good anymore. Maybe he was never as good as we thought he was.
That's for some people.
I really have no interest, to tell you the truth. He's gaining a bunch of strokes off the tee. That's good for here. The rest of his game has been piss poor.
And man, Team Sabatini, got to go back to that.
First round leader for sure, Team Sabatini.
Crushing it.
The guy is he's the scrambling man. He's chipping in from like,
crushing it.
If he's 30 yards away in the rough, he's chipping in. That's happening.
Funny guy. Doesn't like to shower after his rounds.
Gross.
So I heard.
I like to shower like twice a day. Like to keep clean. I sweat a lot though. Long shots. Let's talk long shots. Does anyone stick out to you right away besides Trey Mullenix?
How deep can Denny McCarthy rip it?
Not deep at all.
Okay, pass.
The one that I just kind of popped up when I was doing, remember?
Cam Champ 175. We're here, baby. 33 to 1 to win the Masters. What up, y'all?
Kyle Jones is a name I wanted to throw out. Remember Kyle Jones?
He was like a leading a couple weeks ago. Didn't Tim make
Where? Where was he leading?
So it was before the Masters. Florida?
Genesis at Riviera.
There you go.
I might just check like a top 20 bet on him just because I saw his name pop up. I was like, I forgot about that guy. I forgot he existed till right now. But he...
Seriously, though, I guess Cam Champ do anything for you? 175 to 1?
No, not until he's not Andrew cursed anymore. The guy won. He got severely Andrew cursed, and the guy can like barely stay healthy anymore. Got sucked in him last week. Now to success. I don't have a whole bunch of long shots, but we've seen long shots win here before is the crazy thing.
Seamus Power.
Are you just naming names, or do you have like actual thoughts about these guys?
Guys that can hit the ball well that have shown some life recently.
Do you think that Seamus Power hits the ball well because his
last
name is Power?
Yeah, I assume he crushes the ball.
I don't think he does.
Oh, he's got to be super long.
Driving distance gained in this field, 87th.
He's so big.
He's a burly fella. Like Shane Lowry doesn't hit it a mile. It's Power hits
No,
a fur.
Power's not burly. Power isn't. I don't know.
I think you're thinking of Super Jack Scott Stallings.
No.
Very jacked.
That team of Power and Hearn, though. They
Hearn-
linger again.
Well, I mean, if you're just basing it off that, if Seamus Power stands next to David Hearn, who might weigh like 97 pounds, he probably looks super huge. Curtis Luck is the best putter in the field on these super fast greens. I feel like it's just a sort of a feeling. I'll just go look at actually what he's done right now. But doesn't it feel like he's been lingering a little bit more recently?
A little bit.
And he's the former top amateur in the world. He's
But
very.
has he been lingering on PGA boards or other boards that I've seen just have come into my sight from around the
He was
globe?
28th at the Pro-Am, missed the cut at the Genesis. That doesn't bode well. Did lose 4 strokes putting that week in 2 rounds. 25th at Puerto Rico, missed the cut at Honda. 13th at Valspar. 52nd at Corrales. 80th at Valero. And he was pretty good in the team event last week. He's all putting, basically. But, I mean, if Jason Day can do it, why not Curtis Luck? He's 225 to 1.
I'm just trying to look at the bottom. No one over 201 can smash the ball.
No. I wonder who the best are from down in that range. I'm sorting by. I'll extend the sample a little bit. We'll go to past 50 rounds and look at driving distance because sometimes you get weird courses in there, and it is against the field in terms of driving distance. But if you have heritage in that mix, some guys are dialing it back off the tee. So we'll expand the sample and see what happens. But driving distance gain. Tom Lovelady is number 1 in the field. Cameron Champ, Wyndham Clark, Rory McIlroy, Brandon Hagee, Trey Mullenix, Keith Mitchell, Luke List, Jason Day, Sam Burns, and Tony Finau. And your boy, Ollie.
Neiman? Or we got to just step off for a bit?
I might have to wait until after the PGA Championship. Let's get, maybe if he plays Byron Nelson next week, Byron Nelson, I'll be in on Neiman. His odds still haven't shrunk enough. He's still 125 to 1. The guy's not playing that. He couldn't even close in Chile 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign. He is 17th in driving distance. Verner's in. Isn't Verner local? Isn't he a North Carolina guy?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Good point.
So HV3, I mean,
He doesn't hit it far enough though, right? Doesn't he? But he's long irons. Isn't he that kind of guy? I mean,
he's an absolute bomber. If his last name was Harold Varner to the power of 3, you'd think he's the longest guy on tour.
No, but I mean, he can.
He's the 18th in this field in driving distance gained. That's ahead of Brendan Steele, Brandon Harkins, Johnny Vegas, Justin Rose, Phil.
Then he's probably worth a sprinkle.
Maybe. Seth Reeves, somewhat interesting. I believe he's a lefty. If there is a lefty correlation here and he's a bomber, I mean, he sucks at the rest of his game, but your boy Fratelli? Huh? Distancing off the tee? Huh?
Where does he rank?
Who knows? He's probably 30 to 1 for some reason. He's 125.
What do you mean 30 to 1?
No, I just looked down. I don't see a ton I love. Harkins at 300, but that just sounds more like a first round leader play to me. JB Holmes, maybe the move here this week is to do on, Wise, List, Mitchell, Holmes, Mullenix, and just make that your card. Start at 60 to 1 and hope to get lucky. Each way them, and if one of them comes inside the top 5, it's like hitting Paul Casey to win.
But you start that card. I don't know why you couldn't throw your one dart, whether it be Casey or Hideki.
Because if I then go to the top there, then I'm like, do I really like Casey more than Hideki? I mean, I kind of like them equally. Hey, which one do I pick?
Welcome to my brain.
Sure, but that's what I'm saying. That if I detach myself from the top of the board to begin with and just take these losers down here, then it gives me a live bet opportunity. It gives me a chance to get in on someone that I kind of like on Sunday, or if one of these guys gets into the mix. It's just them hitting an each way at that number is if List hits the each way at 80 to 1, it's the exact same as Paul Casey winning the event. Now the bet won't be as large, so there's that part of it, but I'm still winning a bunch of money for the week.
No, absolutely.
So
if I could have had that KH Lee each way last week, probably pays more than Rahm and Palmer.
It would have actually, by a substantial amount. They paid double what Rahm and Palmer paid.
That teamweb.com.
I was hoping fucking Harkins and Damon, man. Just wanted them to get in there. Just right there. Would have been so nice.
I believe Paul said the Rory board he built for this show was the greatest board he's ever made.
All ones, basically. Rory's getting it done. Rory's pretty good. Let's see. Not the best putter, only 37th.
Yeah,
But-
that's fine.
But in all those things that we like to see, tee to green, ball striking, off the tee, and birdies are better. 1-1-1-1-1. And par fours. Guy's good, man. And he's good at long par fours. So on this course, last season, 5 of the most difficult 50 holes on tour actually were a part of this course. The Green Mile, I think everyone forgets. That's the one thing you need to watch out for here, is if your guy's in the lead and he steps on that 16th tee, 16, 17, and 18 are fucking death. Like, they'll get you. They're 3 of the hardest holes on tour. It's the hardest 3-hole closing stretch that the players will see all season. So I'm looking at, there's the 3 scoreable par 5s you can make eagles on. There's also 2 drivable par 4s if you have enough distance. Top 10 players on tour right now over the past 50 rounds on par 4s from 0 yards to 350 yards, so like drivable par 4s. Phil, Ricky, Sink, Bill Haas, Nate Lashley, Tringali, Rory, Stallings, Jason Day, and Pat Perez. Pat Perez apparently did not tear his Achilles. He is back playing. And Hideki and Woodland are right behind them, along with Danny Lee and Paul Casey. What are Danny Lee's odds?
110, I think I saw.
Really? That's not fun. 140. I could see myself getting on. That might be a first-round leader thing, but... Course history. Robert Streb. Really good at this course. Even when Robert Streb sucks, he's really good at this course. Maybe a DraftKings look from that guy. Let's get to the quick picks, though. What do you think you've decided on? I got list, I got on, I got a 60, I got an 80. I'm deciding whether I want to do that like Casey Hideki stack at the top, maybe throw some Phil in there, maybe a Patrick Reed, or literally just stick in that 60 to 80 range and take on, List, Holmes, Mitchell, Wise, Mullenix. I'll be on Mullenix either way, 110 to 1. What do you got?
Guys that I will be for sure betting.
Mhm.
Aaron Wise and Mullenix.
Okay.
I can't quit on or List.
Okay.
But those are sort of like now approaching FOMO bets. That being said, I'm like at the point where, this is entertainment purposes only. And at the top, you know what, Woodland, I'm probably going to bet. So like official bets would be Wise, Woodland with a Mullenix, Bob, and I could then see myself picking 2 of Finau, Casey, Hideki, because I don't like a lot. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because that middle range is so shrunken where I normally pick my losers from. It doesn't really exist here.
Gotta give Glover a look too, I think. Anyway, that deeper range, like I'm not gonna bet the top of the board, but I'm very terrified of those 4 guys at the top, that they just go ham and run away with it. And that way, if I lessen my exposure and the amount that I put into the event, if I start at 60 and just take a few of those guys. It's sort of my strategy, and hope it's not one of those years that those guys win.
I agree, but every Sunday night, where this will be the week, do you know how many Sunday nights I look at like the card and the bets I made, and I rethink to the show where we're like, I don't want to get too involved, like DJ or Dustin and Rory just gonna run away with it, and in the end, like these guys that we're so afraid of aren't even like in the mix.
It happens,
but yes, it happens, and it's probably bound to happen again. And next week we're at Byron Nelson. I really like the Wise pick.
Okay.
Replaying everything in my head that Wise and Woodland, we get off the air, I'll be betting.
One and done picks for the week. I believe the 3 of us, I don't know who Cuss is picking for this event, but all 3 of our picks missed the cut at Heritage. That's no fun. So I believe it defers back to me because I had Dustin at the Masters. He came in second. I have no idea who I'm going to pick. I don't even remember who I was picking. Who I picked, who I haven't picked. I know I picked Ann because he missed the fucking cut. I'll take Paul Casey.
That's
Take Wood. You've taken Woodland like 4
for
times.
sure. I've taken.
Take
Woodland.
Aaron Wise.
See, people like even after Cantley did well, they're like, you only had Cantley because like Pat bullied you into it. I was like, no, it doesn't work like that. Because I literally was thinking about Wise, but now if I say yes to making that, it's going to turn into this thing that I was bullied into it again.
Take Jason Day.
But I did make the decision that I'm going to start getting freaky in one and done.
Because you're so far behind?
But also me versus you, why should I get freaky?
I mean, it's only $100. Who cares?
Aaron Wise.
Aaron Wise.
Bullied.
Call
me bullied.
It's been a year since he won. He's due. right?
I think the course suits him. He's back in these
Top 20 at
in
the
his
Masters.
range.
Yeah.
I hope, and I'll say this as an outright bet: if he can't like win or give me form to like get me excited for the weekend, I'd rather him be 10 over and go right back to it next week.
Okay.
Right? That's like the thing with the outright bets. My almost biggest fear is when he plays great, comes in like 6th, and everyone's excited. Maybe you don't each way, or you miss out, or it's a shortened one, and now you lose the number, but you didn't even get the payoff for it.
Yeah, it's always the worst. It's the Finau problem.
Yeah, or
That is Tony Finau's problem.
what do you think our next, like, what would Cantley's odds be here this week? He'd be with the 22s?
Yeah, he would be.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about Game of Thrones for a second? Again, I'm doing
Yeah,
a full pod with Tommy G, so we'll really dig into it.
I'm not like I've seen every episode, and I started actually like in real time because I remember being home that first Sunday night, and you put it on HBO. It's like, oh, there's a new series, and just because it's HBO, you're like, I'll give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been in from day one. Didn't have to binge watch anything. I don't know. The episode was.
Yeah, I will say I can't recall the last time I was so on the edge of my seat watching an episode. And isn't that the point of it?
Yes. So they win because I was thoroughly entertained.
So the people.
I was thoroughly entertained.
The people that really seem to dislike it are the Tims of the world who are just looking for internet attention.
Okay,
like, that was the worst episode of TV I've ever seen.
No, that's insane.
Fuck off.
My one complaint, and it's a very common one, is I feel I thought how the Night King died was very like Disney corny.
Why? Here's the problem with it all, is that people have spent so much time thinking about the show and reading and talking to their friends about what's going to happen.
I've never read a book.
I'm not talking about reading a book.
Okay.
I'm just talking about you've talked to people about the show, I'm sure.
Sure, yeah.
And here's what I think's going to happen. And eventually people talk to enough people that what happened was mentioned by someone else. Like, well, this is stupid. And then I ask, what would you want to have happened?
Oh, that's not my job. This isn't like me going into a place where I work, bashing someone for doing something and not having an alternative.
But I feel like
this is way different than that.
But that's the common complaint that I've seen is like, well, I didn't like how it ended. It's like, well, how would you like this episode? How it ended. How would you like this episode to resolve itself? Well, I have no idea. What the fuck do you want?
I just didn't like that the killing of that character felt like I was watching like the Disney movie I was watching with my daughter. That one part of that very central, omnipresent character who I wanted to know who he was.
Well, maybe it turns out he wasn't all that important to begin with.
Maybe
this is also not the last episode of the show.
I agree, and
that was the big thing that people got into. It's like, well, this guy didn't die, and this guy didn't die. Well, they still have fucking 6 hours to fill.
I like that.
You need to have some characters.
And I like that they sort of ended this, if it is over, so they can go on to like the human versus human battle for the throne.
Yeah,
because I'm not like zombies genre like. It's even a stretch that I got into the show, like the fantasy thing, because I never even seen like Lord of the Rings. So like it's just not my genre to begin with. So the fact that I got so into this in the first place, but I didn't care for any, like even when they introduced the whole Walking Dead thing, people bothered me. So I'm happy that they hopefully maybe could be gone.
But maybe they're not gone.
And it's more episodes of person versus person that I like. And I think it's an easy and fair criticism, but I think it's right to say that Suspenders with Sweatpants guy stopped writing his books, and they needed they were offered Brinks trucks of money to finish the show, and now they're finishing a show that's far less like ruthless and it's way more mainstream.
Well, it's also, I think people have to consider that it is a TV show. And that they always talk about they never thought these books would be able to be adapted to the screen anyway, based on what happens to them in the different scenarios that play out. But there are certain confinements of TV that there's a structure of TV, like you have 3 episodes left. Stuff needs to kind of parlay into one another. And a lot of the stuff, like maybe the books end differently and there's like crazy stuff that happens. Maybe you can't film that. You know what I mean? Not everything can just be put on screen. The reason the episode is so dark was because the $50 million worth of special effects that went into it, that if you tinge everything a bit darker, then you don't notice the CGI quite as much. That if it was a completely bright scenario, these are the expectations that people had for this, at least from the people who didn't seem to like it all that much, are just, I don't know what they wanted. What did you want? You got to have your hour and a half of TV where you're at the edge of your seat. It was something that everyone watched, that you could talk to about, that it feels like it really came through on that. And now we still have 3 episodes left. of all the stuff that everyone actually likes about this show.
I don't disagree with anything you said. I just think
I
that
feel like people just want to complain.
no, I just thought that part was corny.
It was really well telegraphed, as we saw. I went back and looked at it. So you have there was
Yes, the scene with the like we're talking about the blue eyes.
yeah, but there's
green
also
eyes,
a scene from last season when Arya's sparring with Brienne in Winterfell when she first gets back, and she does that move
in
on
that
Brienne.
exact spot too, right?
She does the hand drop, grabs it with the other one, and goes like this. So it's pretty well telegraphed. If you were paying attention, this is always how it ended.
I'm not against Arya is one of my favorite characters in the show. Might be my favorite. She's one of the most well-developed characters that they made outside of like Jaime and Tyrion. Got the most character development over like 8 years. So I'm happy she, gave that blow. I just thought for a character, maybe we weren't supposed to know. I want to know like I don't know. That's all.
Why did you really want to know? You want to know his backstory?
Like, what made him the Night King? Who was he? Which family was he from before he died? Like,
maybe he was just some dude. They showed how he got turned into the Night King.
Yeah. So, but yes,
wanted death.
I was entertained. That's all that matters. I'm gonna watch the end, just like I've watched the other ones. Yeah.
All right.
Also, your boy Thor loved my draft. I'm not talking about Avengers Thor.
Oh, you're talking about Thor from the mock draft last week. From
Yeah.
World. Loved the Chargers draft.
Yeah, you gave me an A+.
You're very cursed. You picked two. You even picked two Notre Dame players.
Isn't that funny? Oh,
And
we'll
Tim
see
couldn't.
who's laughing.
And Tim couldn't go. Tim was going on about how some guy they drafted in like the 5th round better than Anthony Barr. Didn't want Barr anyway. We got this guy who he'd never heard of. Then he told me they drafted some guy and he watched 30 seconds of highlights and was convinced he was the best player in the draft. I always forget that like most people who like are fans of teams and watch like the draft are like Tim, not like sensible people. They're just complete fucking morons when it comes to this stuff.
Who's this guy? Oh, highlight pack.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the man.
You rarely see the bad highlight pack from people, especially like lower end prospects. You see all the good plays. You don't see the rest of it. That's why I liked having Thor on. He just watches it all. He's seen it all, like Patrick Stewart in Extras.
One more thing.
He's seen it all.
I probably should have done this earlier. How Golf Channel takes their European tour commercials, it's almost like there's just a dude who's given a timesheet of what time, like a kid is sitting in Orlando working weekend mornings, and he's given a timesheet by the boss. I need a commercial at 7:40. I need a commercial at 7:58.
Yeah, that's how that works.
But it doesn't matter if the guy's mid-putt.
Yeah, that's how TV works because it's not their feed, right?
No, I understand how TV works, but I just say
you understand how TV works, but you've never been in that back room programming the commercials into things.
I understand that, but if it's live sport, it doesn't like work hard and fast time. I'm just saying they could take their outs a lot better, especially on Sunday like back nines.
Especially with the budget they have. Yes, I agree with you, but I know that.
Yes, no, and
I've seen that happen in live sports for real TV.
I know you know that. I'm just sort of articulating for like it literally is like the boss hands the kid a time code sheet. Like,
but how many listen, I know like golf ratings are up and stuff like that. How many people do you think were
paying it? Like how did you just pull out like as the guy's pulling back his 12-foot birdie putt? No one knows.
Let's be real here. The only people that are watching European Tour on a Sunday morning in America or Canada are people that have fucking wagered on it. That's it. No one else is watching.
I'm talking about that have like a ticket.
Yeah.
Because I've wagered on some I'm not even watching because my tickets all suck. But yes, that's all.
So they probably just don't care.
No, obviously the cost-benefit analysis to them has proven do not care. This is just airing in pro shops and degenerate gamblers like faces right now.
This is correct.
Right?
Geoff Fienberg, check him out on Twitter at G Fienberg. You can follow me at the PME. Twitter, Instagram, my betting cheat sheet will be up at the PME on Facebook on Wednesday afternoon. Jeff Ulrich will be on the show tomorrow to break down the DraftKings slate. So join the Listeners League, 3,500 spots this week, $15 to enter, 3 max entry, and check out all my work up on DKPlaybook.com. And if you smash the like button for the episode, leave your DraftKings handle in the comments section. Tell me who you think is going to win the PGA Championship. 2 weeks from now, you'll be in a draw for 20 DK bucks, as you will be if you rate, review, subscribe, 5 stars, DraftKings handle, something nice about the show on iTunes, Stitcher, or Spotify. All right? Good luck at the Wells Fargo Championship. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
That Mayo experience! experience.